Hey guys, Off the Mic Sports Network here, another edition of Off the Top Rope. Okay. So Money in the Bank was certainly very interesting. We've talked a lot about, the stunning conclusion of this show where our truth. And hey, it looks like I've already seen merch being released for Ron Killing. They're not even calling him our truth anymore. So, I mean, listen, this was something that nobody had on their bingo card. But we can talk about that extensively at another time. Go watch my initial, reaction to that on the channel here. But we need to talk about that men's Money in the Bank match because that was certainly something. A lot of shit happened in it. Jacob Fatu turned babyface. He turned against Solo Sikoa, which we all expected. There was a bunch of run-ins in that match. You had JC Mateo getting involved. You had Jacob Fatu. You had Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed get involved. You had that crazy, one of the great ladder spots that I've ever seen where LA Knight slingshots El Grande Americano, who climbs up on a ladder outside of the ring, proceeds to have basically, and I got to give credit to Seth Rollins on this. Seth Rollins basically helped aid the ladder for El Grande Americano to get to the fireball ladder and get into it and then he headbutts Penta with the metal plate off, only for LA Knight to Saito suplex him off the ladder. A lot of shit could have gone wrong in that. That was an unbelievable spot. There was a lot of crazy shit that went on in this match. Penta was great. Andrade was great. There was a lot of stuff that went on in this match. But it was no secret, and I said this from the get-go, I thought LA Knight should have won. And he didn't. Seth Rollins won this match predictably, and I understand why, because he's a heel, and naturally you want a heel to be in this match and to be in this spot to, potentially, cash in and steal a championship from somebody. And I would not be surprised as soon as Monday when there is a world championship match between Gunther and Jey Uso. I would not be surprised in the slightest if Seth Rollins tried to cash in there. And, we can debate it until we're blue in the face about what that might entail. And I can go into that in detail of, what's going on and just like a lot of the, other parts of this. But just at a basic level here, great match, one of the best Money in the Bank matches ever. I don't even think that's an exaggeration because all of the stuff that went into this match, all the 6 guys involved in this crushed it. The run-ins really went well. It was overbooked. In a lot of ways, I think it kind of over-delivered. A lot of people expected the women's match to be better given the talent base, and I think the women's match was very fun. But I think kind of given the talent pool, there was a little bit underwhelming. It had the right winner, but, hey. But this was a great Money in the Bank match that had the wrong winner. LA Knight should have won this match. And if it wasn't going to be LA Knight, I would have said El Grande Americano. You may be snickering at me for that, but at least with that, you would have had some unpredictability with that briefcase. You could have had Chad Gable, get unmasked or something like that. You could have done a lot of crazy shit with that. With Seth Rollins, it's very basic. And I understand that, okay? Like, it's just like you want, to have it and used in an element of story, which is a little bit different from what it's been done with before. And I get why they did that last year. I 100% get why they did it last year with Drew McIntyre, because he was motivated to get that world championship back and he got screwed over by CM Punk. And it was a wasted briefcase, but I was okay with that. We'll see what they do with this. And I'm going to talk about this in another video of why I'm really dreading what they might do, because if they do go the direction that I think they go, they might waste the briefcase again. And that's going to create a whole different narrative about Triple H, because he was quoted as saying something about the Money in the Bank briefcase. Maybe he doesn't like it. I don't know. But it's just, to me, to have as great of a match as that, as great of a Money in the Bank match as that was, to end it with Seth Rollins on top of the ladder with the briefcase, considering he literally won this match just about a decade ago. He's won this match before. You have other avenues to get Seth Rollins to the world title. I get it. He's a heel. He's got two bodyguards with him. He's got this great group that's being heels. And it's one of those things where I kind of understand, where their logic is with this. But also the other piece of this that was really bizarre and why I think this ending really kind of fell flat. And it was still a great match. Like I said, one of the great Money in the Bank matches ever done in the history of this stipulation that goes back 20 years. Where the hell was CM Punk? Where the hell was CM Punk? Where the hell was Roman Reigns? I know Roman Reigns was probably less likely to happen than CM Punk, but I mean, did they just not want to have it? One of my friends said to me, yeah, it was overbooked yet underbooked at the same time. It was like, you had all the crazy shit happen only for Seth Rollins to just win and there be no interference from CM Punk or anybody that he has wronged whatsoever. I understand that, Punk was kind of like, effectively taken out, but especially with what they did on Friday night in the build of this match where, Seth got involved with virtually every person in that match, every single one. And, all the baby faces that were in on the babyface side of this match got attacked. El Grande Americano was not interacted with at all. Solo Sikoa, they had a little like run in there too. And they did some neat little like, faction warfare in here. And then obviously, the Jacob Fatu face turn was really the big piece of this that really kind of took it over the top a little bit. And I think Jacob's going to be just a massive, massive star moving forward as the United States champion. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out with him now breaking away from the bloodline. So it's just, man, to end it the way that they did, it kind of felt a little bit flat to me because it's like, yeah, I get it. I get why Seth is a decent choice to be the Money in the Bank. They just leaned so heavily into this. And by Wrestling Booking 101, if you're going to go that way, then why would you have him win? And then on top of it, no CM Punk whatsoever, no Roman Reigns whatsoever, which tells me that they're going to play a role potentially in how this cash-in happens. And if they force another failed cash-in, that is a terrible idea. That is an awful idea. I was okay with it last year, but that is a god-awful decision. If they make the decision to go with Seth Rollins, try to have him cash in on Jey Uso or Gunther, maybe as soon as Monday, whoever is the world champion, and then ultimately, have whether it's CM Punk, Roman, whoever, screw this up for him. That's not the way to go. And to have, and then separate from that, to have a repeat winner, it's like, I understand Seth Rollins. Look, don't get me wrong. For anybody who's just, I love Seth Rollins. I thought he was the MVP of last WrestleMania season. He was fucking outstanding with everything he did over that weekend. I think he is as good as there is in this business. He's one of my favorite wrestlers in this company. He's one of my favorite wrestlers ever. I have a shirt sitting right behind me in one of my drawers with my clothes. Like I have a shirt that I love wearing. I wore it to WrestleMania. You can go look at my social media on Instagram. I love Seth Rollins to death. He was not the right winner of this match. He was not. It didn't make sense to me. It just felt way too predictable. And then in the manner that they did it, especially with all the crazy shit that they did in this match, it just feels like a massive letdown. And we'll talk about it with, the ramifications of the guy I thought should have won in LA Knight. And then also separate from that, what this means if they're going to go in the path that they will. But stay tuned for that on the channel. Thanks so much to everybody who watches here on the channel. I appreciate y'all. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.